In this episode of Mighty Car Mods, we're getting the STI completely back together.
WRX. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. In this episode, I'm gonna say it, people.
No,
Drum roll,
it.
please. We're finishing the WRX.
Don't
we're
say
putting it back
finishing.
together.
We're
We're finishing this part of the build.
Yeah.
It's not going to be left with half a bumper bar hanging off like it's just run into a bank somewhere. It's going to be all back together, ready to drive, ready to have some fun with.
Anyone who's ever stripped a car apart for paint or to do like any kind of major repairs like this, you know what happens. You pull it apart, you're all keen, the stuff's all over the garage, and like, this is gonna be so good. And then life happens, and then you go, I'm gonna put it back. Oh,
Yeah.
where's all my bolts?
Yeah,
Oh,
the stuff's gone.
I don't have the part. I can't get this part. I can't get that part. Now, luckily, we were able to order a bunch of parts that are actually in Australia, which is kind of rare, actually.
Well, it's weird that you can get stuff for an old car
Yeah.
still new. There's obviously enough market for it that they keep making it, or they just had heaps of it like new old stock and they just keep
Luckily,
selling it.
because the panel repair industry uses this stuff all the time, for anyone who, smashes a windscreen or scrapes the side of their car. So you can still get it, which is great and makes this job a whole lot easier. Today, we're gonna finish putting the body panels back on. We're gonna finish putting the suspension back in.
It's going to be drive ready today.
Drive ready today, ready for a wheel alignment.
Yes, which is important, almost as important as Cheryl's box. We have an almighty mystery loot box, Cheryl's box. Check it out. We'll choose the merch. You don't have to. We'll send it to your door. Let's put together a WRX.
Speaking of boxes that break open, Subaru time.
Let's go.
Oftentimes, the clips that hold the body kits and spoilers on use captive nuts. If these get even a little bit corroded, they'll bind up and snap before you can undo them. So being they're a single-use item, I've ordered a bunch more for the spoiler, which by the way is the one this car came with from the factory. I'm applying double-sided tape the same way the factory did and using some sealant on the clips to prevent water getting in. Then, with a little help, it can be lowered back into place.
Bottom half of that big, crazy lunch holding spoiler is back on. I was wondering why this car kind of smelt a bit swampy. Ever since I got it, I just noticed it after it rained, it really stunk. Just pulled the spare tire out and it seems we have the reason right there. That is gross. Look how much water there is. So the two ways that usually happens is either from a leaking tail lights or a leaking boot seal, but this is quite uncommon because it's actually got like a lipped edge there. So it's not like it's coming through here. Could be going through there, but then the inside would be wet. So the two culprits are either the spoiler, which I've now resealed, or the tail lights, which I need to reseal. So hopefully we won't have that problem any longer, but that is yuck. Look at it. Just so much water. Look how much water it is. There's litres of it.
If you don't catch this kind of thing in time, the next surprise you get is rust. There's a good chance the taillights have been out before and not resealed properly, and the sealant does harden under intense temperature changes, which can cause it to shrink and then let water in. This is a two-piece spoiler which makes reassembling it on the car just that little bit easier. Again, I need to make sure water can't get inside the lower section, which would hold it like a bowl full of disappointment. With sealant applied, it can be bolted back together.
Yeah. trims are often a one-use item. If you get your car smashed and then get it smash repaired, often they'll just order that whole part and go again. Luckily, this stuff was available and in Australia and available next day, which is actually amazing considering this car is 21 years old this year. But these clips, because they are used a lot with hail damage repairs, smashes, respray, stuff like that, you can still get them. They're also common to a lot of different Subarus. So these are the clips that go into the little channels on this thing, and then you clip the thing down to the roof, and we're getting close.
The trim clips around the windscreen are held in using the same adhesive that holds the windscreen in itself, which is a nice time saver at the factory, but actually a pain for what we're trying to do. They can be reseated and will stay with the right amount of shimmingying, but you have to start at one end and work your way to the other, applying even pressure or it just pops straight out again. My reasonably expensive single-use screw-in trim clips have arrived so they can be installed and the rear window surround attached back onto the side of the car. These clip in but are also secured from the inside with a bolt, meaning you have to pull your interior trims off to fit them up. Next up, I need to install some more rubber adhesive gaskets to the side skirts and rear pods, then I can install them and get to work on the rear bar.
Well, that is looking like a car, Marty, and it's
Yeah.
looking excellent coming from the Nissan guy. It looks great.
Looking so shiny now, all the other bits are in there, the trims and all the extra little bits, it's starting to really look like a thing.
So everything's on.
Everything's on.
So what is all that?
Everything's on. What stuff? That's nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. So the thing that was slowing us down yesterday was the strut tops. If you put your finger in it and then spin it,
Yep.
you will notice it
I
doesn't
get about
spin for
3
very
spins
long.
out of that one.
That one is even worse
I get about less than 1
because
spin
there's
out
a
of that
bunch
one.
of ball bearings in there, and they're the strut tops. And when you turn the steering wheel,
Many spins out of that one.
yeah, when you turn the steering wheel, that all the load is up on there, and that's turning. So I had to get new ones because those ones are totally flogged. They're the ones off the car, and these are some spares that I had lying around because all Subaru stuff's more or less the same. But yeah, replacement strut tops, cheap and easy to put on. So the next thing that's going to happen is strut top, spring seat, rubber thing, bolt it all down, throw them in the car, drop the car.
Are these original, do you reckon?
Yeah, they'd be originals.
Because to give you some context of just how old this is, so this is a 1999 model
Yes.
WRX.
Yes.
Yes, he admitted finally it's a WRX.
STI, WRX STI.
Yes. Anyway, so this WRX is from 1999. What was cranking through the tunes in 1999? Ram Raid Me One More Time by Britney Spears. I Believe in Gearboxes by Cher.
Yeah.
No Scrubbing by TLC.
Slide into the gutter by Goo Goo Dolls.
Slide into the gutter by the S13s. All right, so let's put the suspension
it.
in, and then I do believe we can go for a drive, possibly.
I hope so.
All right, let's do it.
More often than not, you can install lowered springs onto struts without using a spring compressor, unless you have a mate whose name is literally Spring Compressor. We're going to be installing new bump stops and rubber boots while we have everything apart.
I'll just, yep. You put your hand on there as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yep, push it down.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so hard. Hold on.
Sorry, it's squashing your hand. That's the
Yep.
problem, isn't it?
Yep. Try putting it on there now.
Yeah, I think it's still just catching up just on the real
I'm
fleshy
trying to-
bit of your hand.
Push into it as far as I can, but
Maybe can you push down on the top one instead?
I'll try. If we do it at the same time, we might be able to get it in. Something
It's catching.
Something catching on something.
That's what happens when your car's way too low.
Wow, look at that.
It's just been smashing the absolute crap out of the bump stops the whole time.
So to give that some context, it probably should be looking a little bit more like that.
Wow.
Look at that.
Look at the size difference too. We'll probably cut this down a little bit because we are putting lowered springs on, but not that much. Maybe take one thing off. You can chop them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Not all aftermarket springs are made the same or installed the same way. In our case, we're using a progressive spring in the back, which has coils bunched tighter together at the top of the coil. The fronts just need to match what came out in terms of orientation. Usually the writing on the coil spring is the right way up, but not always. Read the instructions to confirm so you don't have to pull it all out again. Best practice is to do up the top nut with an offset ring spanner and a hex key. You can do it with a rattle gun, but there's a risk of damaging the internals of the shocks. We've never had it happen, but there's a reason the instructions tell you not to do it. With the struts reassembled, they can be installed back into the car.
Very happy to donate my old BRZ wheel nuts to your WRX project, Martin.
Thank you.
You can use them on your STI as well.
Yeah, this car came with some weird, like, crappy, rusted out wheel nuts, so I'm happy to put some genuine ones back on. Heaps better. So these wheels are off a tuned by STI Subaru Liberty, so like the top version of Supergrams.
Yeah.
They were an option on those, or cars, or they came standard on those fancy ones. And so they're, yeah, they're quite rare. Or they used to be quite rare and hard to get a hold of.
They look really good on this car, like they look right.
Well, factory fitment too. Really, they're too big. Really, they should be. This car's supposed to have 16s from the factory.
Really?
17s is probably right. These are a little bit big, but that was exacerbated before by how low it was. So,
what kind of wheels are you going to put on there?
I think there's a high chance that the stud pattern's going to change.
Yeah.
Because you can get beefier stuff like 6 speeds and other driveline things. I'm not sure which way I'll go with that, but if I do that swap, then I need different wheels anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll rock these until that happens.
Oh, that's heaps better. That's perfect.
Yep. It's a little bit high in the back, but it will settle. The front's great though.
That's 1.5 fingers, Martin.
All you need.
That's what you call functional fitment, Martin.
Yeah. It looks pretty fat, doesn't it?
Looks really good.
It actually, before it was so low that it lost its sort of aggressive fatness.
It did.
It looked just a bit slammed, and that's the look that works on some cars like big VIP things, but not on something like this, I don't reckon.
Sometimes when cars are too low, they actually look limp instead of tough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they look like a melted troll.
Especially because it's such a little wedgy car.
Yeah.
Like it needs all the help it can get to look a bit more aggressive and fat looking. But look at the paint, dude.
Looks excellent.
That's not buff, that's straight off the gun.
That's amazing.
So happy. Trung did an amazing job. And thank you for your help putting it back together.
Thank you, Martin.
I think maybe take it for a wheel alignment and then we should take it for a drive.
Sounds good.
Next time.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. And, of course, if you want to support the show, you can check out mightycarmods.com. We've got lots of merch. This shirt.
This long sleeve shirt.
Do a 360, Martin.
There's also news and articles going up there regularly, and we've also got a mad email list which you can sign up to from the front page of our website, which is where a lot of this stuff comes out first. So if you want to get it first before stocks runs out, you can get it from there.
Excellent. All right, Martin.
Time for I feel like an icy pole.
I was thinking edamame, so I guess we're
work.
going to a Japanese restaurant.
That was hot work, man.
Excellent.
Good hot work.
What a car.
Yeah, it's great. Love it.
My 180 will chop the shit out of it, though.
Maybe.
Won't it?
No.